Things fall apart. This is your guided tour for pages 75 through 100. I just love that image, but it's it's a very traditional African image, but that's not where our story takes place. Our story takes place in that river valley, and it's, as I said before in an earlier tour, Africa's got the northern Africa is all desert, and then there's a big mountain range cutting right across it, and then there's a southern part where the waters flow off of the mountains and flow down the river basins. The Niger River Basin is where this takes place, so it won't be all deserty and it won't be low scrub brush and trees like this. It'll be much more rainforesty. And but I love the picture. I have to put it in there sometime because it just reminds me so much of everybody's image of Africa. So here we go. We start off with the court and Igwugwu. Um, Again, we've gone through all of this stuff as a summary, so these are just some things to kind of help anchor the way that it would look and the way it would be. And there aren't as many in this one because the last 25 pages are just about personal rights, and they're very specific to three things. There's the court, there's the Agbala, and then there's the Ari ceremony. So anyway, here we go. African mask ceremony. The reason that I wanted to show this one.
Masks are found all across sub-Saharan Africa, used for both ritual and ceremonial purposes.
The reason I wanted to
Masks
show
are a
this
key
one
part of the
is
traditional culture
most of
and
the
art for many
masks.
peoples of
I'm just going
Africa.
to mute this for a moment. Most of the masks, by the time that they get put into a museum or a collection, most of the organic stuff, other than the hard wooden pieces that were used to paint and the paint to paint it, fall apart. You can see that we could have feathers. This looks like fabric. It may have been dyed fabric that they've made. It may have been purchased, but a traditional African mask is going to be made entirely out of natural materials, and most of the stuff, I just love that one. Most of the stuff that's used to make it look like hair and make it look like other things will rot and fall apart. So we're used to seeing African masks that don't look like this. So that's one that's in its good shape, good condition, usable quality. The ones that we're a little bit more likely to see are probably going to, let's see, here's one with the feathers and the beadwork and that sort of stuff. It's in pretty good shape. And here is one without, where all of the hair and other accoutrements have probably rotted away or even been removed simply for shipping. This is the only part that the collector felt was worth keeping. So African masks often do end up with a lot more stuff going on than what we're used to, like this one, except we don't get to see it because by the time they make it to a museum, the other stuff is rotted, fallen away, etc., etc. They didn't have the greatest preservation techniques. They were using real animal hair, real fur, real feathers, so they didn't last all that long. Which is one reason why that sort of stuff was so important to the people and were so valuable, because it would wear out. So we also have the Priestess of Egbala. Let's see, I'm trying to see which order. I think I better skip that one until a little bit later. We got Tortoise and Birds next. Tortoise and Birds is a little bit of a surprise. I just went to a very simple one. This is a wiki page, but I've researched it in many different places. We keep running into the same stuff. This is just the fastest way to show it. So there are early Indian versions of the Tortoise and Birds story. You'll hear different versions. In this version, there's a talkative king who finds a tortoise that has fallen from the sky and split in two. In this one, it come about as a result of talking too much. There's an Indian version where the tortoise and her friends live in a lake that is beginning to dry up, and they pity the future suffering of their friends, so the geese try to help them out. There's an Italian version of it. There's a version in Aesop's Fables, and of course the one that is mentioned in African Fables is the folk tale done by Ashive, which is our author. And this is the tortoise who is the African trickster figure, right? And he goes and he tricks the people out of it. This it explains why the tortoise's shell is so uneven. Much of the same story is now claimed by the Swazi people and the Kikuyu. So definitely had origins that are still today claiming that story. Okay, moving along. So we've got the priestess of Agbala. Okay, and the one thing that all of these images, all of these beautiful ladies have is there's a certain quality, maybe not that one, but there's a certain quality of fierceness, a little bit aggressive, strength, not afraid, a little bit more bold. And let's just for a moment think about that. We've got Chielo comes and visits Agbala, wants to see his daughter Azinma. Azinma, Okonkwo says, should have been a boy. She has the right spirit, he keeps saying. And it seems that Chielo has picked up on that and is taking Azinma to go and start having little discussions and talks with her out in the shrine because, in my opinion, although I will never be able to prove this, she's noted that strength, that quality of fearlessness, that spirit that Okonkwo noted in his daughter. And the priestess said, that girl's going to be strong. She's going to grow up to be strong. She would make a good priestess. I think she was starting to be recruited. But something's going to happen that's going to change things so that Okonkwo's daughter isn't going to be seeing Chielo very much not for too much longer. Anyway, I think that's one of the reasons why she picked on Azinma, because she likes her and she sees that strong spirit. This lady looks like she has it too. All of these ladies seem to have that look in their eye, that strong spirit. Moving along, let's see. So we have the ceremony. We've gone through those. There is... Okay. This is a picture of a different part of Africa where there is a person. It's supposed to be a man possessed by the voodoo hunter god. But you may find that what basically has to happen is the person who's being carried here does look like there's something going on. They're not acting normal. And you have to have some way of looking or showing that I'm not the normal Chielo right now. I'm Chielo that's been possessed by Agbala. The god is in me and he's speaking to you through me right now. So she has to have a very distinctive look about her when she gets possessed by her patron deity. We also have an African shrine. This particular one is not even in Africa. I think it's in a totally different part of the world. But the concept is that it can be just something that looks just a little different. It looks dark in there. That's definitely, it goes back a ways. This looks like it was kind of a combination of natural and man-made. You might find a pile of rocks with one dark hole leading between them, going down deep into a cave. The way it's described in the novel is that the hole is at the base of a hill, and it's, according to the novel, barely big enough for a hen to fit through, and yet she still squeezes in there. Don't be claustrophobic. She squeezes. She has to get on her belly and crawl through this opening and barely fits inside. So it's usually these types of places are things that are going to be natural construction. The one thing they mentioned was also when you got near to the cave, if you made a loud sound, there was a resounding echo, and they felt that also was a symbol of this particular little valley must have some special magic in it. It echoes. And I guess if you're in a place where it's mostly rainforest and sound just gets lost in that kind of an area, echoes are pretty rare. So if you run across a place that does have a cliff or a hill and has an echo bouncing off of it, that would be very unusual for the area. That would definitely make people think something special or supernatural was going on there. That's for this little section, a guided tour. There's not very many things that are distinctive about it because it focuses in on the three pieces. And I think that's a pretty good little tour guide for you of some of the stuff that you're going to see. Hope you do well on my test, and we'll see you again soon.